Okay, hello. All right, we're back. So now in the first video, I showed you how to get your app started. You followed you followed along, and you can follow that tutorial. You should be able to create your first skeleton of your app. Um, you at this point you've gotten your link, and you have logged into your back office. Okay, so to your workspace, I should say. So now where I'm at is the workspace for Network Helper, and if you look to the top left, you see that that was the name of the app that we started today's test. Of course, that's going to be whatever you name your app when you get started. If you look straight up at the top, it says you can still set up your payment gateways. All right, so that's not completed from the first step. As you can see, you can click this where it's highlighted, set up payments. You can click that, and you can start creating your payments. All right, you set up your payments. So as I said before, you don't have to necessarily do everything in that first step. You could skip some steps if you didn't know, and you can always revisit it at this, where we are right now, which is basically we're fine tuning the app. So so the first part, think of the first part as the skeleton or the intro, and this is where we start to get a little bit deeper. Okay, so if you look down at the left, you see the column to your left under today's date, on today's test. You'll see we're in the home view, overview, relationship funnel, and what's next. You see those, and you see those duplicated across the top here in the different tabs. All right, I'm in the overview. We'll check out the overview. As you see, this is in the overview tab. This is actually a QR code, and you can share your app with clients when we're done, and they'll get the link. All right, this is the link for it. You can copy that, and you can send that out, and they'll be able to actually download your app without you ever having to submit it to Apple App Store or Google Play. Okay, and you can link that. You can embed it in a website. You can send it along in a message. I like to think that that's probably the best way to do it. If you're not going to publish to one of the stores like Google or Android, you can always just drop it in your message from your phone and share it directly with people phone to phone, and they can do a side install that way. So as we look down, you see this thing. It says profile completeness. It's at 9%. As you go through as you build out your app, that's going to increase. All right, and it kind of gives you. It's pretty good. It gives you a good value with regard to how complete your app is. Depending on what you do, you can get it all the way up to 100%, but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It goes according to how many features that you want, and how much you fill out the features. You'll see what I mean in a minute as we kind of go through it. But yeah, it's just something that you can kind of use to gauge. Some people like scores, like to keep scores. I think it's kind of like a game almost. You can kind of keep score a little bit. You see here we have the members, you have invited, and you have prospects. Those correspond to the people who have interacted with your app. So prospects, invited, members. So yeah, so it's basically, it keeps track of how many people have downloaded your app, how many people have been invited to download your app or have taken you up on it, and how many people who've actually gone in and signed on and logged in their personal information and became members. Okay, and it also keeps track of how often people and what the quality of interaction that you have, how often people have taken actions. So here you see app availability and traffic, and this also keeps track of the amount of invoices you've issued through your app, the gross paid, how much net paid, all sorts of things, and successful payments. And it keeps track of installations both on Android and iOS. Most used pages, entries. What did that say over there? Oh yeah, user locations, which is interesting. A lot of that stuff is like Google Analytics stuff. You can get it right here in the app. You don't have to even go to Google Analytics. It gives you right here. It gives it to you all right here. So also we can click the next tab, relationship funnel. This is really cool because as I mentioned before, this lets you know how many people were visiting, started, collecting, consuming, and returning. These are your visitors, the people who are consuming or who are interacting with your app. So obviously, moving from left to right, it's going to get smaller because the visitors are the people who have actually downloaded your app, and then you have the people who have started the app. Okay, so you also have consumers, and returning customers. The next tab is what's next. And this is good because this helps you. This is a bit like the first tab in the overview where you have the percentage. Well, if you click, let's go back to overview. If you click add value and enrich your profile, it takes you over to the what's next tab. And this is where you start to really make changes to your app and really build your app out. All right, in a more, I guess, in a more detailed fashion, you would say. So here you get to choose your app style. If you see these check marks, let's look at these for. Let's go down. These check marks are things that we've already taken care of in the first step. Then you have the advanced section. This is create client groups. We'll get through all of that in later tutorials. Configure the user's personal zones, add classes and group bookings, enrich your app with extra content, modify main screen layout, and set employee roles and permissions. All right, and that last part is important as well because you may want to allow other people to make changes to your app. So say if you have an established business and you want one of your employees to do updates with the app, you can kind of designate someone to do that. You'll send them an invitation. We'll send them an invitation to their email that they provide, and you will give them permissions to work on various portions of your app. Now we're in this part where we get to actually edit the app. I'm going to click Edit App, and now you'll see these are the various tabs that move across app pages. You're in the main screen. Also, you can look at it in either place. It's either on the column to your far left, or you can look directly at the tabs that move across. It's the same stuff. Here you see you have your main screen, you have your app pages, you have your brand, you have your app style, you have your utilities, and you have your settings. And we're going to go through what some of those things mean. So we're going to start with the layout. Here you can change, in the main screen, you can actually change the layout. You can set page settings and content. Let's click around some of these things so I can show you. This is we have different layouts. So this layout, which is highlighted, it's always highlighted. It's the first layout, but you don't have to go by it. Obviously, you'll see what I mean. This one is loyalty focused. It's just the way it's set up. And these are just, even with these, there's a certain level, there's a great level of customization that can go on within the layouts. But it starts with the basic premise or the basic theme or whatever you want to call it. You know, when we choose your layout, you're trying to choose which one, the function, I guess you would say, of your app. So this loyalty focused layout enables showing all of the members club elements on the opening screen of the app. So if you really want to focus on the membership portion, all right, and tiers and rewards and all that kind of stuff, you might want to choose this loyalty focused layout. And you see right here, you can edit the content. If I click here, I can add extra things. So now with this one, I think this was a photography build. Here you have consultation and you have photo shoot. So these are just different items that can be added, all right? And you can link it to a service. There will be a service in there which is also consultation and photo shoot, all right? And then you have your page settings, which is just, you can, depending on what the page looks like, it just allows you to change the name of the page. You have, this one is on the main screen, you're going to get a welcome, but we can change that to anything that we want to change it to. As you can see, that's fully editable. So it doesn't have to say welcome on the main screen. It can say whatever you want it to say. Okay, going back to page layout. All right, so these are loyalty oriented layouts. So this is the loyalty light. This is a loyalty focused layout enables showing some of the members club features in the opening screen of the app, the membership tier, and point balance with 2 call to action buttons. So it's just a little bit different. It's also a loyalty based layout. It's a little bit lighter. As you see, like this one has a lot more features on the front. You know, you've got your you've got your products, you've got your cards, you've got all this other stuff going on, but this one is a little bit lighter. So you don't want all of those features there. You just want to do something different. So then we have the engagement oriented layouts. And as you see, I'm not going to go through all of these right now. You're going to see all of these when you get in. But as you see, you can switch to all of these. We can look at a preview, and it kind of gives you a sense of what the layout looks like. You see that? It's got these nice cards here. Deals of the day. You know, all kinds of nice things that you can do. All right. Bookings. This looks really nice. You know, you can preview this. This is really nice. So it takes you right to the bookings. If you want someone to take action quickly, then this might be a good way to go. And then vertical selection, horizontal selection. This one's cool. The vertical selection, it does this little highlight thing where you it's like a wheel. You scroll up, and as it gets to the middle wheel, it kind of highlights and pops out like 3D. So that one's pretty cool. And then you have the horizontal selection, which does the same thing, but of course that just does it horizontally. You swipe to your left, and as you come to each one, it pops out a bit, all right, and becomes more prominent. And this is good. It's really eye-catching, and it's got a nice little animation to it, which makes it look nice. And then of course you've got the subscription one. It's suited to businesses that utilize subscription punch pass business model, and that's what it looks like there. And you see we got a nice QR code layout. It takes you right to the shopping cart and everything. You see the punches, the punch cards and everything right there. A lot of loyalty stuff there, so that one's real cool too. All right. Then we got the promotion oriented layouts. This one's really cool. It's just one button. All right, you can get them to take action really quickly. All right, bam, there you go. Whatever your service is, your product, it's only $30 for 45 minutes. You know, you're a photographer, so book me. You know what I mean? For 30 bucks. All right, and they hit the button and it takes them right to it. And then you have the bubbles, which is like that as well, but it has sort of like the descending order of things. Like maybe you have some other businesses or some other services, I should say, that are maybe ancillary, and you can kind of assign them based on the size of the bubble, which ones that you really want to book. Or let's say your main core business might be your big bubble, and then you have other ones that are just kind of, you know, other things or add-ons or whatever services that you can add. And they could be the smaller bubbles. And then you have the content oriented layouts. You have the carousel. It's just all sorts of different things. A grid, single promotion, which is a lot like the big button, multi promotion. So you can switch to all of these things. Let's click one, single promotion. You know, there it is. All right, and it looks like it's got this nice little in a similar fashion. It's got a nice little animation that you can scroll through. But you know, the single promotion might be the large one. You know, and it maybe stays there. So, you know, you got all kinds of things that you can do, all sorts of layouts that are available to you. So here we're in the app pages. This is where we actually start to drill down and actually change the actual pages. Here you start to make the actual edits. Okay. Here you can make changes to your branding again. All right. Remember in the beginning when we chose this, it was chosen for us. You can decide to change it completely and say, hey, you know, I didn't have a logo before, but I've got one now. Here you can address that situation. Your app style. All right. This is really cool because now you can choose one of the themes that we have. All right. We've got a bunch of different themes. Let's look through the theme gallery, and you can demo this. Let's say, and it kind of gives you a look. Gives you the layout, the whole 9 yards. All right, and you can change through it. This is just if you want something, you just want to pick something up really quick, like maybe some stock photos and everything. You can just kind of go for it, and then sort of change or drill down or you know, make little minor changes from there. All right, so here we have the utilities, and the utilities tab is just, you know, these are the tabs that go on the side. You'll see them. please well, let me close that out. All right. They populate the side of your app. All right. Um, you can do all sorts of things with this as well. You can embed, um, free screen hands. Just, that looks like you can put some code there. You can put in a web view, which is your, you can click this and this will take you to a link. You can put in your, so, your email address, your web view. You can just do all sorts of things. You can put your web link in there, you know. So, and then settings. Yeah. So, you can just do a bunch, and you can actually change, like, your membership tab label is labeled membership. You can change the way that looks as well. All right, you can rename things. So it's just, I mean, customization just on a level that is very, very fine. All right. So if we go back to app pages, let's go to an app. Let's go to a page and change that a bit. All right. I'm going to open this back up just so I can keep track of where I'm at. And in this case, we're going to go now. Anything that you see with an eyeball, that means it's active. If it's grayed out, that means it's not active. We chose photography. So obviously there are no classes in here, but we can, if you wanted to do a photography class, all you would have to do is click that eyeball and it pops up in the app. I'll click it and that page goes away. Although, and here's the cool thing, say you could keep something, you can keep that eyeball grayed out, press that pencil, and you could still make edits to it. It's just that it won't pop up in the app, because remember, everything in the app is rendered real time. So when you make changes to your pages here, it goes straight to every single app. All right, there's no need for updates or anything like a lot of other builders do, or a lot of other people. There's no costly updates and no long time that you have to wait for updates to render or anything like that. It's instant. Okay. You can go to group booking and you can start. This is night photography. They just kind of put one in here. This is sort of a just sort of a mock booking. You can change it. You can hit the eyeball and make it disappear, but it just kind of gives you something. Learn how to take amazing photographs at night, how to best use your camera, lens, flashlight, and reflector. And that's what shows up in the page. All right, as people find it, you can assign an employee to this task. It's a class, so you can say this specific employee will be doing the class or is in charge of the class, and you can. It works with their schedule. It connects with their scheduling software on their phone. They get emails and everything, and reminders. And it's really cool. And people can just kind of pay for the class through the app and show up. It's a service types. You can change different service types: consulting, photo shoot. See, or you can add a new one. We'll show you that later. And then here are your class dates. You see that? You've even got a calendar function, and it determines how many registered participants. You can manage the amount of participants. So, I mean, you can do all sorts of things. And so let's go through we've got schedule. There's a schedule. All right. And here's the service types. This is your actual schedule. This is where we keep track of what we've got going on. And then we've got the service types: consulting and photo shoot. Then we've got employees. These are the people who you choose. You can add an employee. You can take them away. We'll deal with that in a bit. Here are your group bookings, right, for night photography. Okay. All right. Let's go back to edit app. All right, so that's pretty much that. Where are we now? Let's go to publishing. Right? Well, hold on a second. We did booking, right? We did booking last, right? This is where you manage your bookings. So let's go to shopping. This is where you set up your shop, right? So you see the m-commerce situation here, and so this guy says for baby photography session, he's charging $150. As you can see, you can edit that. All right, and you can change the price. All right, add a SKU number if you want, your discount if you want, right? It can be a percentage or it can be an adjusted price, and you can also add categories. Right, and then you can also add additional images. So say you wanted to add a slider situation, you just kind of add the images here, and you have your own little slider. So when people get to that portion for baby photography, they want to book a baby photography session, they open up that page, you got a nice slider effect down here at the bottom. All right, and then they can book a service. All right, attributes. All right, small, medium, large. All right, green, red, blue. You can change the colors, obviously. Size, year, designer, all sorts of attributes. You can change the name as well. All right. So and it is what it is. So if I change, let's say, the size, that changes the size. All right. You could add attribute choices here. Okay, so and then you have your variations, and you manage those individually. Let's click that, and you do all sorts of other changes, like you have a small green will cost you a different price from, let's say, a medium green, and you can make all sorts of variations in there. All right, so that's the shop, and I really love that feature. And then you can get rid of the entire thing entirely. You can hide the shop, and then you can remove from the featured list. There's a featured services list as well that you can create. All right, or featured products, I should say, which works nicely with some of the promotional layouts, obviously, for obvious reasons. So you have your categories, right? Best sellers, sale, featured. You can add your categories by pressing this plus button. You can add a different category. You can make changes to existing categories. Let's click sale, just so we can see what that looks like. All right, and here you link products to your sale category. And remember, before, when we were going through products, it showed you where you put your categories, where you dropped in your categories, and this is where you link them. You could add categories before in the products. All right, and then you could link them. All right, so well, anyway, let's go on to shipping. All right, and then you have your policy, and you add rules and settings if you want to actually change the name, on sorts of things like that. Here's your refund and cancellation policy. Excuse me, your refund and cancellation policy, custom policy. All this stuff is very important. Obviously, your business information, right? So there's just a really high level of customization. Okay. So that's about it. And you have your offers. I'm just gonna go real quickly. I don't want to keep this too long. Much longer. I'm going to drill down and create. You'll see some other individual videos that I create on how to make different changes. I'll deal with some things specifically, but I just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of how it worked. All right, so here's your members club. This is I'll tell you a bit about members clubs, prospects, right, groups. All right, and then you have a sales section. All right, what keeps track of your orders, your invoices, and your settings. And then you have your push manager as well. So you can do your push notifications. You can add push notifications, greetings. This is really good. The greetings, reminders, geolocation, schedules. All of these things can be put into push notifications, and anyone who has the app, or maybe not anyone, you can push them to certain groups. So say you could decide who receives your a certain push notification. You could send a push notification to anyone who has downloaded the app and has the app, or you could send it to a certain person or a certain kind of person, or you put them in categories and groups. And let's say it could be women under 21 years of age, or or over 21 to 35, things of that nature. You could literally drill down and just really isolate that type of person to send them a certain message. So that's it. Or you could also do according to geolocation, which would be like maybe a certain radius within a certain location. It could be you could set it so that everyone who who moves within 1 mile of your location, or 5 miles, or 10 miles of your location, instantly receives a certain notification. Hey, come in and get your pictures taken. So that's about it. On that note, I'll deal a little bit later on. We'll go over some other things later. We'll go into business details and things of that nature. Yeah, we'll go into business details, which is very important. Remember, that's where we had the setup payments, where if you want Network Helper to handle your payments, you can choose business details, or you can just click setup payments if that's not set up yet. As you see to your left, it's your profile. You set up your bank accounts and you set up your Stripe payments. Credit card, which is credit card fulfillment, we do that through Stripe. All right, and at the bottom, your permissions, and we'll deal with that as well. You can decide who is allowed to act on your behalf with regard to the app. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna end this right now, and look out for the next video. And I will start to get, and you'll start to receive them. Just individual trainings. I'll drill down a little bit further into how to edit the app, and you'll see it. I'll actually start to build this particular app. This will be our test app, and you'll actually see how this app gets put together as we move forward. Okay, thank you.